my mic. All right. You guys could probably hear me now, so you haven't missed anything, really. We just went through roll call and called the meeting to order. So we are now at additions and deletions to the agenda. So is there any additions or deletions to the agenda as presented? Hearing none, we'll move, call the question of approving the agenda. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, agenda is out there. We do not have any presentations tonight. There's no one here for public comment, but if someone does come, I would be happy to open public comment back up. Next, we'd have approval of the meeting minutes. So did everyone have a chance to take a look at the meeting minutes? Is there any questions on the minutes that Christine was able to put together? Hearing none, I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Can we get a second?
Second.
Alan was first. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Again, great job, Christine. Appreciate your taking on that duty. Next, we have our discussion items. So the first item is Bike to School Day and getting an update on that. Christine, do you have anything specific you'd like to mention about Bike to School Day?
I've got an update from Wendy, and she said that there were 10 gift certificates to the bakery given to the children at Park Lane and 10 given to the children at Meridian, and they were $5 each. And our biggest turnout was Meridian, and it went well this year.
That's great. I know we usually do have a big turnout at Meridian because kids are a little bit older. Parents trust their kids to ride, and it's right on the bike path system. So I think that definitely helps out. When I was over there with my daughter, I just saw quite a few bikes. So again, great job putting that together. Does anyone have any questions for Christine?
No. Thanks for doing all that work, Christine.
A lot of it's Wendy.
Yeah. Thank you to Wendy for all that she does as well. Can't forget about her. Next on the agenda, we have the Fix-It station. So if you recall, we did have an Eagle Scout that was going to be doing a bike Fix-It station as part of his project. That did fall through, but his mother did offer to donate the Fix-It station to the township, and she is just waiting for us to pick that up. So as of earlier this week, no one had approached her yet, so I'm just hoping that we can get someone from DPS to pick that up, and so that way we can cite it and put a plaque on it thanking her appropriately.
I can send an email to Derek and see about getting somebody over there. Do they have the information, where, like the address, where to go, how to coordinate it?
Alan, I know that you were working on it last year, so do you know if they have the update? Would John have that information, or should we?
It was given to them on both occasions when I spoke to the secretary over there. It was my presumption that they had already picked that up. I didn't know that it hadn't been picked up yet. I have in my emails the address, and I can probably forward that to you.
If DPS has the address, I can just ask Derek to find out what the situation is with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and if they don't have it, then just reach out to Alan and he can give it. And if Alan's busy, I'm sure I'm in communication, with the donor as well, so I can ask her for the address.
Okay.
All right. Related to that, didn't have this on the agenda, but I did notice that our drinking fountain down here at Grow Road is not installed yet. So it would be good to ask Derek about that as well, make sure that that's installed.
Turned on or installed?
Well, they remove it every fall, I believe.
Okay.
And so it's just like you have to put it back in. It's just a couple bolts and then connecting the water.
Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda I have about Island Fest. I was approached by Chad if BPAC wanted to participate in Island Fest. In past years, we have had a table, and we had maps out there, and talk to people and ask them where do you see problems, where are the things that you like, basically just do a public input session. We do that in the airport hangar. Another year we were out by the water fountain, approaching people as they were coming or going from Island Fest. I told them that we probably would not be, but I would talk to the commission to see if there was anybody that was interested in manning such a station. So I'm putting it out there for folks. If you're not available, no harm, no foul in that regard.
That's June 2, 3, 4. I could certainly make myself available if you guys want to do it.
Is that something that you're interested in, Jameson?
I get plenty of electronic feedback. I don't know if Island Fest we're going to get a lot of,
Yeah.
quality feedback from people. I'm not sure. You guys have done it before, so.
Mm-hmm. It's been my experience that if it starts raining, then we get a little bit more of
Okay.
people in there. But generally, I think people are to have fun as opposed to
Yeah, juice isn't
People
worth the
to comment.
squeeze. Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. Next on the agenda is a discussion item only, is about the Gibraltar Bay connector. So I know we've been working on this for a number of years, and Jameson and the other township liaisons were able to fill the gap within funding to make this project a reality. So I'll turn it over to Jameson to talk a little bit more about the project.
Okay, so the Gibraltar Bay Connector is an attempt to connect the Gibraltar Bay Nature Unit to our system of bike trails. And what this will involve is moving the fence line on the east side of the airport to the west side of the access road that runs north-south along the airport perimeter. What that'll do is make a safe, improved surface for people to travel north and southbound along East River Road to the Gibraltar Bay unit of the Nature Conservancy. So the project came in at roughly $79,000, I think was the final quote. The Township Board last month authorized up to $90,000 using a series of mostly grants, actually all grants. So the Wilson P. Wilson Fund, a Metro Dollars grant, and then most importantly, a large grant from the Byers family. So we're very grateful for them for their contribution. And the project should be starting in the next 4 weeks. So it should be a great addition to our trail system. I'm excited about it.
We know what we're doing specifically to honor the buyers in that regard. Have we seen any plaques or anything?
I'm not sure on the specifics. I believe there is something, but I would have to get back to you on the exact details.
Do you know if the project is including an improved connection between the service road and the bike path? So it's we have to cut a hole in the fence, and if you do nothing, well, you just pretty much got some grass in the area in order to fill that
I'm
gap.
not sure.
So hopefully we have that included.
I will follow up on that as well.
So next on the agenda, we have the Bellevue-West River Connector. And this is something that we've been working on for a while. This would be a sidewalk that connects from Meridian and goes along Bellevue, cutting across the road right-of-way, all within public right-of-way, near the Groseal Golf and Country Club, and then connecting into Water's Edge Complex. And then from there, going along West River Road up to the West River Meridian connector and tying into that existing sidewalk. And it'd be paired with another project in Trenton on the other side of the Groseal Free Bridge in order to make that connection directly to Jefferson and to tie Groseal into the rest of the Downriver Link Greenways and the Iron Bell Trail. So engineering has been complete for that project, and then funding has recently been secured to actually build it. It's as part of a what's the appropriate word this time? But it's via federal legislation. We have set aside specifically for filling all of the gaps within the Downriver Link Greenways. So we need to thank the Downriver Link Greenways and U.S. and Fish Wildlife Refuge. The Friends of the Detroit River, as well as other partners, in order to help secure those grant funds. So the next steps would be, again, to make sure that all of our stakeholders are on board. Talk to the country club, talk to the the recreation department, make sure that they understand what's happening, see if there's any room for any small tweaks or changes. Make sure, and then bring it to the township board for an actual vote to say that yes, Groseal is a willing partner in this, and while we will not pay anything for capital up front for the project, maintenance would be the sole responsibility of Groseal Township. And so there's a few other things involved with the resolution, but it's a pretty light lift. It's just making sure that we do due diligence and ensure that all of our stakeholders are know about the project and hopefully agree upon it.
So you said the engineering was completed. Do we have the representative graphics that we could use for discussion with the country club?
We do. So we had engineering drawings to begin with, and then I asked for them in a GIS, or Geographic Information Systems platform, so that way we could overlay it with an aerial photo. So that way you can see exactly where the sidewalk will be along both Bellevue and West River. And I did briefly talk with Daniel Murphy from the country club, and he's interested in talking with us.
Great.
Again, very receptive to it, but just would like to know a little bit more about the details. So we can do this as a commission, or we can do it with a subcommittee, but I would definitely like to start increasing the communication on this and get the project done. Any other questions?
Just one. Are they giving any time frames? I know the engineering's been completed. Most of the funding is in place. Do they give any insight to when they think they might start this?
So I don't have any firm dates on that. It is federal funds, and so that means that all of the projects need to go through MDOT, through a side of MDOT called the Local Agency Programs, or LAP. And so all the designs need to be reviewed. They need to be able to certify everything along the way. So my guess is it's probably at least 1 year to a year and a half away from actual construction. But again, I don't know all the details, and I assume since Groseal is not the only spot where the gaps are being filled, it would probably have context with all of those other gaps. So for reference, there's gaps in Riverview along Jefferson. I believe there's a few crossings along the way in River Rouge, as well as a lot of the communities that are going to be doing wayfinding signage in order to make sure people stay on the pathway when it's more of a sidewalk. So devil's in the details in regards to the start date for construction, but once I find out, I will definitely let you know.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. With none, we'll move on to the next discussion topic, is the Ferry Road Bridge. So the township manager, Derek, and myself have been part of conversations with Wayne County's consultant regarding the redoing of the Ferry Road Bridge over the Thoroughfare Canal. So like many of the other bridges in Groseal Township, they're old and they need to be redone. So as part of the construction, they've been asking if there was the need for sidewalks or path along the bridge itself. And so discussions have been taking place. Nothing is final, But the options were, do you do something a little bit wider on one side of the road or the other, the north side or the south side? Or can you do, something narrower on both sides of the road? Our initial discussions were like, well, if it's feasible, we definitely like to have the option of doing sidewalks on both sides of the road, because that hedges our bet against a future sidewalk or anything that we have on Ferry Road, to make sure that we're in alignment with that. Unfortunately, not all things are equal. Sounds like there's less right of way on the north side of the bridge, and there's additional utilities in that area. So it makes the sidewalk on the north side a little more difficult. Again, it's not, nothing has been said that you can't do it yet, but we're leaning towards putting something on the south side because there's more right of way in that area. And, any pathway that we do we'd likely want to have, at least at some point, sidewalk on the south side in order to connect into those neighborhoods, because, that's the denser part of the community along the Ferry Road corridor. But we also would need a crossing in order to access the new ferry trail. So, long story short is that, we don't have a firm answer, but definitely looking towards the south side being the preferred option. But if you want to go out there, take a look at it, and give me your feedback, I would definitely appreciate that. Any questions? All right. Other thing I'll add is that, as we develop a full non-motorized plan, a bicycle pedestrian plan, we want to make sure that we do have the Ferry Road corridor on our radar for that, because of the connection to the Ferry Trail, for the connection to the middle school as well as the high school. And so just going to make sure that we're looking towards that. Next on the agenda, we have the Meridian bike path crossings. And so there has been public comment, not at a meeting, but via email that was sent to both myself as well as Jameson, from concerned citizens regarding potential upgrades to crossings of the Meridian bike path, most specifically at Meridian Elementary. So, I told the concerned citizen that this is on our radar. This is something that we've been looking to do. But, the challenge is that we need to work with Wayne County on that. And I know that Jameson feels that this is a concern as well, and has said that, be interested in, fast tracking something if possible. So, Jameson, is there anything that you would like to mention specifically about the potential bike path crossings?
Yeah, I suppose. We've got all of the developing a community takes time, right? So we've got these great trail system, and now we've got to build out some of the ancillary, connectors and relationships and everything else in the system. I, for one, think that a Meridian crossing at Meridian School should be absolutely a thing. It probably should have been a thing when they put the trail system in, but we see the need for it now, and I think we need to find a way to do it. I have been looking at the different products. There's lots of different ways to approach trying to set up a pedestrian crossing, and I'm sure, Brian, you could probably talk for hours about all the different options, but we'll just get after this one. I think it's important, and we'll see what we can do.
Related to that, probably need to reach out to the school district. I know that with the millage that was passed, there's talk about in the future that there will be a consolidation of the elementary schools at Parke Lane.
Okay.
So you don't want to sink too much money into the crossing at Meridian. But again, nothing that's being proposed is a lot of money. I mean, we're talking about on one end probably between $50,000 and $100,000 for rectangular rapid flashing beacons, and on the higher end, it could be $150,000 or $200,000 for a hawk or other types of signals. So again, it's not free, but it's also, we're not talking about investing millions of dollars into the roadway over there.
Yeah, and I think just given where that crossing is, I'm sure it's utilized a lot more by people other than just students, right? Like, I'm sure every one of us have been across there at some point. So,
Yeah, it'd be good to talk to the schools and see like, okay, what's the plans for the property if it's not a school? I know they've talked about renting it out. I think it would be great to like have some sort of, trade school or like, things related to like robotics club or like other, extracurricular school activities. I believe they talked about using the field still. So just getting an idea of like what they're going to be doing would be helpful from that front. Additionally, I do know that the school district has hired a contractor or a consultant specifically to look at commute patterns at both schools. And so like they're starting work on that. And so it's probably in our best interest to like reach out to the school district and, have a small meeting or invite them to our meeting here or go to their meeting. One of those three options. I will also mention that while I don't have construction dates, I know that there's going to be improvements at Ferry Road. We've been working on that with Wayne County over the past couple of years, with the increased traffic that we had with the closure of the Free Bridge. And so I believe probably after the bridge reopens for the Meridian Bridge over the Thoroughfare Canal, that they'll probably be looking at the redesign of that roadway and constructing it where you actually have a protected phase for people to walk across the road. And then, to a lesser extent, a lesser priority, but I still think that we need to look at Horse Mill and just north of Horse Mill for like those other crossings. Looks like I kind of jumped the gun and talked about Meridian Park Lane coordination already, because I was talking about the consolidation of those schools. But next item on the agenda would be a master plan update. Again, I know that the Planning Commission is moving forward with revisiting a master plan update. They're doing the redevelopment ready status from the state of Michigan as well. And I've been talking with Ross Quero about making sure that there is a chapter of the master plan associated with all of the bicycle and pedestrian activities on the island. And so hopefully that will be our vehicle for having a published public document showing like where the existing system is and all of the shared use paths, sidewalks, bike lanes, wide paved shoulders, etc., that we would like to have on the island, and look at that from not just over the next couple of years, but looking 5, 10, 15, even 20 years out. And so that way we can include that within redevelopment decisions. So if there's new developments along East River or West River or Church Road or any of the roads that we've highlighted in the past, that they might be able to at least put that in incrementally or be able to contribute to a larger project down the road. Looks like you're going to say something, Jameson.
Nope. Nope.
Okay. Well,
I'm interested in master planning, but in addition to sidewalks and trails, so
oh, definitely.
I was mulling over in my mind, but
yeah,
nothing to add.
I'm on the planning commission, so I will
That's
talk
what
about
I was thinking about.
Yeah. I talk more about that over there, but like right now I've got blinders on thinking specifically about bike ped travel.
No, I mean, I think it all works together, right? But I just don't want to get off the BPAC rails into other areas, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could look at it as maybe it's not just BPAC. Like I didn't say specifically a BPAC chapter. I was saying like bicycle and pedestrian. So we've talked about coordination with open space, coordination with the recreation department, other departments out there. It can be a part of that larger decision. So it's like it's not just our plan; it's the community's plan.
Right.
So I'm hoping that you can be a cheerleader for us and make sure that as discussions move forward with the master plan, that you as wearing your political hats can make sure that we're included within that master plan update.
Check on what Ross is doing.
Last item under discussion topics is about upcoming maintenance. So again, we do have our maintenance budget, and typically every year we are able to do improvements to our bike pass system. And so that can be just clearing vegetation and other overgrowth. It could be doing seal coating along the paths. It could be doing partial or full depth reconstructions, as well as it's looking at the bridges. So in the past, I believe we redecked the bridge on Meridian by Meridian Elementary. We totally redecked and redid the bridge on Grow Road. The other large bridge to be thinking about is the one over the Thoroughfare Canal along Meridian, and that's the one that's been in the worst shape. But we've been delaying it because we wanted to figure out what Wayne County was specifically doing with that, since it's a bridge that at least part of it is shared with the roadway bridge. And so now is the time to start planning for that update, as well as any other maintenance activities that we want to do for this fiscal year. And again, get on the radar for other grant sources in order to stretch our dollars. So I don't have anything else to specifically say about it today, but if you know of projects, you can definitely talk about them now, or just start thinking about it, and so that way maybe at the next meeting we can have at least a draft plan of the maintenance activities that we want to do. All right, that concludes our discussion items. Next, we go into Township Board Liaison Report.
I think we've talked about most of the things I wanted to bring up. Nothing further to report.
All right. That gets us into the chair's report. As I briefly touched upon, trying to work with the Open Space Committee in order to do more proper coordination between our hard paths and our soft paths, making those connections between them, as well as looking at other opportunities to coordinate. So I will be meeting with the chair of the open space, and hopefully we'll be able to get both of our liaisons to a meeting, and we'll just have some coffee and talk about projects and see how we can move forward a little bit. The other item that I want to mention is that we do have our activities spreadsheet. Within the agenda, there's a link to the Google document. So you can see all the things that we've been talking about over the past couple of years, and see if we're making progress on them or not. So I encourage you to check that out, and leave me notes if things have changed. That concludes all of the items on the agenda. Is there anything else that we want to talk about before adjourning?
What about BPAC membership? Can you guys all talk to your friends that ride bicycles?
Yeah, so to fill the seat that's
Yeah, so
open.
we have a vacancy right now. I don't believe traditionally non-judiciary boards have an alternate, so I don't think we need to go that far. But I guess here, any member of the public interested in serving on BPAC, we'd love to have you. So that was the only item I had in addition.
Thank you for bringing that up. And, honestly, that could be something you bring up at Island Fest. Just think about it. There's a lot of people there. People can get excited, but
Yeah, maybe we do a couple hours of recruiting,
Yeah. do that over. But yeah, either way, we got to get the word out and fill that vacancy and see, have some people waiting in the wings in case we do end up getting other vacancies. All right. With that being said, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Moved by Jameson, second by Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is closed at 8:45 PM. Everybody walk, bike, drive safe.